Growing up, I never felt like there was a story that reflected mine in the media, in music, in literature, any of it. Sometimes I don't want to fight no more. My mother's Ethiopian and my father is Scottish, Irish, Native American. Especially in the time I grew up, there wasn't a lot of Ethiopians in Seattle at all. And even though, you know, my family, like I just said, comes from a lot of different places, I grew up in an Ethiopian household. My parents split up when I was born, and I grew up in an Ethiopian house, you know, with my mom. And at that time period, in the mainstream media, the only time you ever saw Ethiopians referred to was like hunger and starvation. You know what I mean? That was all you saw, all you heard. So being Ethiopian wasn't cool in the early 80s. I don't know a single youth that is not affected. Bullet-ridden streets that's ill crack infested. I don't think anybody really fits into one box. People try to fit themselves into one identity box, but honestly feel like everyone has a multiplicity of identities. Maybe it was easier for me to see that earlier on than a lot of people because I clearly didn't even look like a single person in my own family. But as I get older and the more I tell my story and the more my music reaches people, the more people that I think would have an easier time fitting into society because of whatever reason say, no, I feel like my story is somehow wrapped up with yours. I got to go back to Ethiopia because of hip hop, which is something I never thought would happen. The most hip hop thing I experienced in Ethiopia was at an Asmari bed named Fendika. The dancing was like, you know, it's a skitsta, it's traditional Ethiopian dances, it's people that study dance from every region of Ethiopia, getting down and improvising the same way we do in a b-boy circle here. Like going to Ethiopia filled a void in me that I wouldn't have been able to articulate until I went there and saw it. When I think about hip hop now and Ethiopian culture, I'm learning more about each of them now. Like the more I understand about hip hop, the more I understand about Ethiopian culture. The more I understand about Ethiopian culture, the more I understand hip hop. Hip hop became that place for me where I felt like I could basically make sense of all these identities and bridge all these worlds together, honestly just by telling my story, you know?
I am Gabriel Teodros, and I am Ethiopia.
I know it's right. It's enough to make you crazy and weekend. It's enough to make you lazy and sleep in. Sometimes I don't want to fight no more, and it feels like a war's outside my door. You know, poor is what they say I am, but I try not to focus on what's not in my hand. I offer all that I am in word, flesh, and bone to bless every